a lot of others. I don't know if I've seen Brock's name on here. Who would you rather have if, in fact, either was to join the Big 12? UConn or Utah?
Utah?
Oh, Utah. I don't think that's even yeah. I mean, I know the UConn basketball, prowess and the tradition. And basically, a UConn is like a blue blood. They've kind of just forced their way into it. But in my opinion, there's no question Utah, if that was to happen, I don't think it will. UConn, of course, has been out there along with the basketball additions of Gonzaga with the Big 12 at some point, perhaps in the future.
I cannot say this emphatically enough. UConn needs to be good in football for about a decade for me to ever want to turn them on the television. They need a long time of being good. Or they need some sort of dynamic player that you have to see that comes out of nowhere. And that can happen, but for basketball, great. But if football is the thing that's dictating this, UConn does absolutely nothing for the Big 12. It doesn't increase the value of their football contract at all. Now, if you're talking football and increasing value of the contract, then Utah, a two-time defending Power 5 champion, sure does.
And one that it looks like they're in the same mold year in and year out. Whether they continue to win Pac-12 titles remains to be seen, but they seem to kind of have it very, very well. From Brock, thank you. I've been listening for a while. Great stuff. Utah would be my answer, too. Paxton, have you guys committed to getting Steve Sarkisian? I have. When did I say that? I think it was last Thursday or Friday. I sent an email to all 14 of the Big 12 teams and media relations directors, and we have heard back from about 80% of them on interview requests with either players and or coaches, and even the possibility of others, ADs and media analysts. Sir blah, blah, blah. Utah fans will never be able to live it down if they have to join Brigham Young in a conference. I know everyone knows about the history, and I kind of get that same impression from Utah that you might get from some of the other Pac-12 schools, that they have no interest whatsoever and would not want to be a part of the Big 12. That's easy to say and makes sense until you might not have an option that is really going to keep you where you are right now, which is a team that is running the Pac-12. If Utah wins the Pac-12 this year, with all the quarterback play, Paul, they have coming back, with all the teams that are loaded, with USC loaded, with Washington loaded, with Oregon, of course, being Oregon, and others, if they, in UCLA, with what Kelly's been able to do to kind of get them pretty solid, sustaining what they've doing, if you win it, you win the Pac-12 this year, I think I'm not saying this because you could end up with a couple of losses, but if you win the Pac-12 this year, and let's say you have one loss, you should be a part of the conversation when it comes to the college football playoff. And especially if you have a really nice non-conference win that leads up the conference play.
That would have happened for USC or Utah last year had they just had one loss. You know, that was the two losses that kept them out. So, yeah, if you win the Pac-12 with Oregon, Washington, USC, and Utah, the four at the top, and let's not forget about Oregon State, who won 10 games last year and then just brought in DJU, who I know struggled at Clemson, but might actually fit better at Oregon State with what they do on offense. So that's going to be, and I'm not even talking about Washington State was pretty good last year, or Arizona State and Arizona appear to be on the rise.
Dillingham, what he's doing, and also with Arizona,
Jed Fish,
and the commitment they had recently, the 5-star player. So there they are. That now here's a note.